Hello everyone, and welcome to another Dash Enterprise video. In this video, we're going to be talking about DevOps and the process that is needed to take a Dash application from development to production. So in this presentation, we'll understand what is DevOps. And to start, DevOps is a crowded and a complex cluster of tools that can be defined as the route your application's development needs to take to end up in a production environment. So with that, the landscape and the options associated with setting up a cohesive application development workflow are extensive, difficult in scope to fully understand, and it's solely dependent on the individual developer and the software stack being developed, which makes it very unique and tailored to specifics. Within layman's terms, this means that there's a lot of daunting and confusing work specific to what you are building and the needs associated with the company, the virtual private server, and the goals of the stack. So with that, let's kind of answer some questions. What is a CI/CD pipeline? Why is it productive to use one? And how does it relate in terms of the Dash framework and Dash Enterprise? So to start, let's define what is a CI/CD pipeline. So CI stands for continuous integration. This is the process where a developer is able to frequently merge their code changes to a central repository. So you can think of this as GitHub and being able to push your code to GitHub. After the code is put on the repository, then it goes through an automated build and an automated test to make sure that the code is capable of reaching production. So CD could stand for continuous delivery or continuous deployment. So continuous delivery extends the CI by automating the tests and showing that it can get to deployment, but it still takes a manual approval step of running a command within the server to redeploy the application. So continuous deployment goes a step further because it automates that process and it allows the code itself to take down the existing container and to replace it with a working application in the container with the changes that you made. So that's the process that I specifically prefer. So you can think of DevOps within 5 steps. You have the code where you're designing a working prototype of the application that you're looking to deploy, and then you configure it for testing and deployment. Then you have a test section where once you go and you deploy your code, then it goes through the test stage where it will see if the code runs without error, making sure that the callback, the functions within the code and everything is clean and will work. So after that, then it goes through the build process, and the build process is focused on the requirements.txt to make sure that there's no clashes between different packages that you're using, the proc file itself, the Ubuntu server, and making sure that the Flask application can reach your Dash application and can actually go to deployment. So the next stage would be the deployment. The deployment basically takes down the existing hosted application and replaces it with the new application that's being deployed. And once that is all done, then you have a hosted application, which allows users to reach it in a production environment.
So when you click here, then the app should launch.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yes, that should be the final flow.
So with that, Dash Enterprise has a few specific options in relation to managing the DevOps process, and that's one of Dash Enterprise's major selling points, as it was designed to handle and limit the complexity needed to satisfy the DevOps process and extending the design to deployment process by streamlining everything. So with that, there are 3 options that an individual can take to set up DevOps within Dash. They can go through an open source option where they have to set up and configure their server themselves. They have to pick the tools that are going to be used in the DevOps process themselves, and it is the most complex option available. But with that, there are a few benefits of the flexibility because everything is individualized and you have complete availability of any package that you want to work with in the open source route. Then its flexibility is amazing, but its complexity is daunting. So you can work within your own local IDE, which has the capabilities and the configuration that you love to develop in, which is another amazing benefit of using the Dash open source route. And then it's free of cost in regards to Dash. Dash supports open source, and this is something that you can go about building without a cost associated with it, but you will still have underlying costs in relation to the server costs of deploying your application on Azure, AWS, or whatever provider you choose. Some of the DevOps tools, like if you have a database and all this other stuff, it will have a cost associated with it. And there's a cost in relation to the time needed to understand the DevOps in an open source manner. There's limited support and there's a lot of complexity. So there is a lot of cost in relation to the time needed to get to a working application. So with that, Dash Enterprise steps in and they have two different routes that you can take. You can work in their enterprise workspace, which in my opinion is the way I would recommend most developers to start with, because it is so easy to work with and it satisfies most use cases, and it allows you to quickly just create applications and deploy them. So the ease of use and getting deployed, this is the best option in my opinion. The support is amazing. The Dash Enterprise team is constantly improving their documentation, creating videos, and they will work with individuals directly to make sure that they can get their applications deployed. The flexibility, it's limited in flexibility. It's still a great offering because it's designed for Dash, and what is provided is focused to building out amazing Dash applications, but you don't have access to a different database outside of Postgres, or it would take extra configuration, or like different situations like that, or tools that you would want to work with within your development environment aren't available, and you're limited to the cloud hosted development environment. So like I said, there's some pros and cons in regards to the flexibility, but overarching, it has so many benefits in regards to speed. So with the workspace, you can't work in an offline setting. You have to be connected to the internet at all times to reach the cloud and to work within your code. And there is a cost associated with a Dash Enterprise Workspace. So outside of that, you have DE Deploy, which is another option that Dash Enterprise supports, which allows you to work within your own development environment, but you set up a configuration of your CI/CD pipeline from your application that you're working within, like PyCharm or VS Code or wherever, and then it will go to a GitHub repository. And then after it goes to the GitHub repository and all the tests are ran, then it will automatically get sent over to Dash Enterprise, and it will automatically launch your application. So there's a lot of support with this. I recently created a video which is really useful, showing how to get this set up, and it's not that difficult, but there is a bit more configuration needed, so I walk you through that. But outside of that, there are the Dash Enterprise team, which will answer any questions if you need, and there's documentation to help you along that journey. Outside of that, there is a lot of flexibility with this. You get to keep your development environment. You can use your favorite AIs within your development environment. The tools that you have within it, it's all still available. So you're not limited to a cloud-hosted workspace. You can work in an offline setting, or you can develop without internet, and then you connect to internet to deploy. So that's another benefit of DE Deploy. And alongside the workspace, there is a Dash Enterprise membership, which is going to be the cost associated with the DE Deploy option. So with that, I hope that this overview helps you understand the landscape a little bit better and kind of where to focus your attention. We're going to have links in the description down below. We have other videos that we have created on this topic, so check those out. And with that, I appreciate you guys watching. If you found this useful, like, subscribe, and follow the playlist to learn more about Dash Enterprise and everything that is available.